There are people in Ukraine that are upset with how the leadership is going. There are people in the East that are even separatist movements that have Russian troops there and are also being Russian back. But there are legitimately people that are part of the East and people that were in Crimea that were more in favor of Russia. But that is not alone a justification for Russia to move in and take over.
Yes, because here's the problem. So the West did not even acknowledge the ceasefire or the lack thereof. There's the 13 points in there. I think we've already violated 8 of them over the course of 1 or less than a decade, 8 years, including, like I said, giving foreign military assistance to a government that the Eastern region and Western region in front of the UN Security Council, by the way, has agreed, like I said, through the resolution 2202, that there was an understanding of separate governance. That is not a whole country. If there is already an international acknowledgement, let me finish. If there is an international acknowledgement through ceasefire that there is independent governance, even with constitutional amendments and an understanding of what was going on in the East, that is not the end to a war or a country in and of itself that has a solid identity. No. Let me finish. Because you mentioned the United States with Joe Biden. Look, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about the 2020 election. When he was confirmed as president. So legally, whether you would argue how he got there, he is legally the president of the United States. And anyone who says otherwise is absolutely moronic because he was confirmed as the president.
As was Ukraine's president after the interim government and held new elections, right?
So understand this. However, that is not the case. We were not in the point of a revolution. Joe Biden was not a revolutionary change of regime of power. You had a Russian foreign government-supported government and a Western-supported government backing each other in a contentious battle for control of a certain territory that both did not want to concede to each other. This was not Democrats versus Republicans. This is an international regime change.
None of this is true.
Yes, it
everything
is.
You just said is not true.
It is 100% true.
The difference,
debunk it.
The equivocating of what Russia does with what the United States. Oh, we both support the country because on one end there are a couple ambassadors talking to each other, and on the other end you've got actual military troops on the ground. You've got oligarchs that play radio stations constantly all over Crimea and in parts of Ukraine. The trying to say that both of these sides are acting the same is just absolutely unfathomable. And the idea that there might be some autonomous government in a region, therefore the whole country falls apart, doesn't make sense either. Crimea was ran with an autonomous government for a long time. Kurdistan in Iraq is ran with an autonomous government. There are plenty of countries all over the world that have autonomous regions that run kind of on their own, that work with the government. That doesn't mean that another country can just come in and steal the land. That's just not how global affairs work today. We can't settle for that.